Listen, listen. I promise y'all, okay? I promise y'all. If it were up to me, okay, I wouldn't even be doing this rant. Okay? I would love for people to show themselves to be the opposite of what I have portrayed them to be in my rants. But the truth is, I'm just spot on with a lot of my analysis, even if I don't really care that much about the show that I'm covering. I understand I didn't really care that much about Survivor 41. I still was able to immediately discern that Liana and Shan were both problematic. Then I come to find out both of them are mixed. So it added a lot more sense. It made a lot more sense as to why they were so conflicted inside. Why they could so easily turn on a black man but then expect black men to be loyal to them. Now understand, the season's over now. Deshaun made the end. He made final three. And of course, Shan and her friend Liana didn't give the black man a single vote. Only Danny threw a vote to Deshaun. Only Danny stayed on code that entire time. It really was a shambles. It really was a spit in the face of all of that. Oh, we want a black person to win stuff. It just goes to show if you can't win, you don't mind no one black winning. Which was my original point, and this was my point about Tiffany, and that's why I've always created a parallel between Tiffany and Shan. And this is why white folks seem to love Tiffany and Shan so much, because they both represent anti black, pro blackness. They're both a walking oxymoron when you really break it down. Now, here's the thing I broke down why Shan was a narcissist already in the nature of the narcissist. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to provide y'all with a sequel. And this sequel is entitled um, The Dark Side of Clout Chasing, a Shan sequel, because if y'all have been under a rock, first of all, shout outs to my patron. Shout outs to Kingsley Bonsu, okay? Shout outs to him. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate you. He hit me up out of nowhere on Patreon. And he put me on game as to what is going on. Like, I'm not keeping tabs on none of these people. I could care less, right? It's the holiday season. By the way, a Merry Christmas Eve to all of y'all who are celebrating it. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, this rant is for you. It's just some little extra credit to add on top, just to give y'all something to entertain y'all with. But first things foremost, I want to give credit to Kingsley Bonsu, because as y'all can see, Kingsley on the DMs, he hit me up and he just sent me a link and said it's unbelievable. So I'm going to show y'all what he sent me. Now, he sent me this. Now, this is a Reddit post, ladies and gentlemen. Shan is out here grifting so hard now. Now she's acting like her life's work, to be a pastor, the thing that helped get her on Survivor in the first place, the thing that she constantly used to explain why she hums all the time, the thing that was used to propagate her and push her as the face of the season even more so. Now she is trying to strip herself of that pastor connotation completely because of all of the clout she has gained from just being a black woman and existing. I've tried to warn you all about this type of shit, but it's funny because only true red pilled individuals can see the grift here. There's tons of black women. I'm not saying y'all are part of the Patreon community. I'm not saying you're even an RBR subscriber necessarily. But there are tons of people on Reddit giving her that smoke because they can see a grift from a mile away. The problem is, black women on average, are so happy that some black woman's getting some shine for something. They don't care about the context. They don't care about the historical evidence suggesting she doesn't deserve it. In fact, if she doesn't deserve it, they rally behind her even more, trying to prove she must be iconic because she didn't deserve it and still has it. This is part of the reason why I think some of this Zendaya stuff is toxic because once again, Zendaya is another woman who has mixed parents, right? There's something to be said about these kids who grow up in these mixed households. They get propped up as the most superior black person imaginable simply because they have a white parent. Black women allow that shit to fly off the handle all the time with how they prop up Zendaya, how they prop up Shan. Now, Tiffany, I can tell she's a black person through and through. Her problem is she just has anti black tendencies and she's a little bit too much of a hood rat. You combine those two things together, they're combustible. In Shan's case, this is a girl from Canada. She didn't even grow up in the American lexicon, but she knows enough about the American lexicon to know how to take advantage of the pivoting prowess administered through grifting. You have a woman here who really did nothing that impressive her entire Survivor season. All she did was hide behind a gay dude who then got all the credit for being the best player of the season for getting you out. Then, instead of holding the gay dude accountable for taking you out, which subsequently got him taken out, but of course, he took you out, then took out two other black people right after you. You don't blame him for that. You just blame the black guys who took you out because you trusted the gay dude more than you. More than them, I mean. So we have a situation here where Shan is unaccountable, right? She blames the black men for why she got her own just desserts and got hit with her own strategic karma, to the point where her and Liana were so bitter as jury members that they couldn't even throw votes to the black man simply because he outlasted them. Understand, if Xavier was at the end next to DX or Claire, I was very worried there was a chance Tiffany could be bitter like this. You get my point? So now you understand why X being the glue of the Cookout Alliance once again is another quality of his game that is underspoken. People don't speak on it enough. Because I tell you this, that Survivor Alliance sure could have used an X. Who knows? Maybe JD or Abraham was X, and you two sisters didn't even give them a chance to be X. So at the end of the day, coach, I look at this as karma, right? Now, what you got to understand is they had this little party. I saw Hannah show up to the party during the Survivor finale. Ooh, out the bam. Deshaun took some pictures with Hannah. I'm not really hating on that gathering or nothing like that. Understand this season was unique because they filmed this season during COVID. Therefore, they couldn't do a live finale, so they actually read the votes live at the actual location that they filmed the season in. Of course, Erica ended up winning, and I'm not even that mad Erica won, to be honest. But if we're really keeping it a bean, I think white men and black men can both agree that Xander and Deshaun both deserve to win more than Erica. Both of them. It, it's a shame that the narrative when a woman's at the end next to men is a woman never has beaten a guy, so we should just reward her. You could argue feminism won Erica this season. You could argue Erica beat them, similar to how Nicole beat Paul Beta-Hamian, just because the jury decided I want to see a woman beat a man. So it's not based off the merit of the game of this season. It's based off the historical context of a woman never beating a man. So you're turning this into identity politics as well. Understand, Davon's responsible for that fuck shit, which led to Nicole F. getting her head blown up enough to create a lie, which turned Davon on David Alexander with the Uncle Tom shit. It's all historic. But my point is, one mistake from a black woman can lead to a Pandora's box of a whole bunch of fuck shit that black women tend to not connect the dots on being their fault years later. It's my job to show people that one thing can lead to the other. People get mad at me for pointing it out in the present, but then in the future, none of their gratitude is as loud as their criticism. See, one thing about me is I will give you credit if you deserve it and be as loud with the credit I give you as when I criticize you. At the beginning of BB23, I was very loud with giving Tiffany her roses. Once she started playing bad, I was also just as loud with holding her accountable. The consistency in my arguments will always be why I laugh at these noobs and casuals who get so emotionally intertwined with my talking points. And now, to get back to what Kingsley showed me, so we can really break down Chantel. And it's sad that she's a Smith, because I don't even want to have to do this, but I got to do it. Because what you got to understand is, if this woman was a pastor, that means she had a passion for religion. She had a passion for spirituality. The fact that you would get on a show like Survivor, do a whole bunch of anti-black shit, get clout from being anti-black and pro-gay, call a gay man your gay husband while you are a pastor, and then when the season's over, all of a sudden you say, you know what? I'm done being a pastor. I want to be an influencer now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what clout chasing looks like. This is what clout chasing looks like. What you mean you don't want to be a pastor anymore? Like so all of that shit that you did your whole life, you was prepared to throw away as long as you got a good edit on Survivor? Well, then that wasn't your real passion. Maybe she was grifting all along just to have the opportunity to get on Survivor. But let's read this statement, y'all. Let's read it. Y'all know me. I try to give people a fair shake of things. I try to read their entire statements out to y'all. That way we can see what they are thinking, and then I'll give y'all my synopsis. Now it reads: After 7 years of serving in pastoral ministry, God is calling me to full-time independent ministry as an entrepreneur. Now, here's the first problem I have with this. God ain't calling you to do shit the same way God didn't point you in the direction to be anti-black during the season. Stop using God as an excuse for a decision you're making under your own volition, that you're making with your full faculties. And see, this is another problem. Black folks, we got to get out of making it seem as if religion is the only way we can do anything. God made it possible for me to get up and create a smoothie. At the end of the day, God has a lot more other things on his mind than your smoothie. He has a lot more things on his mind than your grifting, Shan. But she wants us to believe she's so special. Somehow God gave her his blessing to quit the job he would want her to continue doing of spreading his word. And she's trying to convince us. And see, here's the thing. This is only going to work, unfortunately, on black women. This excuse. Listen, I can call it from a mile away. This excuse is not working on white men, white women, black men, Latino women, Latino men. It's not working on anyone else. And even then, even sisters can sniff out the bullshit here. Because just tell us what it is. First off, why you even got to announce that you're not a pastor anymore? Like, you're a Canadian pastor. It ain't as if Americans were planning plane trips during COVID to go be part of your congregation. So what's up with this announcement? It's because she's coming to Patreon and she wants her thirsty fan base to go mobilize and come support her to justify her decision to prove her lie worked. You got to understand what's going on here, but let's continue. The calling and grifting, I mean gifting, hasn't changed, but the packaging and wrapping paper sure has. Okay. I'm exciting to chase kingdom with the voice God has given, one that is now unrestrained by doctrine and dogma. Hmm. You know, it's very funny that you talk all this religious shit, and yet it seems as if all of that Sodom and Gomorrah shit that your boy Ricard is up to, it seems like you're okay with that. Interesting. But let's continue. Christian apologetics via comedic content creation, online discipleship, and kingdom minded Christ centered messages is where this road begins. So basically, you're trying to tell us that you're going to become a televangelist. That's basically what you're trying to tell us. So you're trying to grift to have people pay you online to watch your digital stream of sermons. Basically. She'll probably open up a cameo. I'm willing to bet you there are people from the cookout helping her with some of this shit, which is an L in itself. But once again, this is why I'm happy Xavier won. Okay? Because see, Xavier wouldn't be caught up in none of this stupid shit, in my opinion. But let me finish the whole statement. I still can't believe God has chosen this time during a world pandemic to move me in this direction. He didn't choose this time. You chose this time. But I know that I can't do it without your support. Your fiscal support will go towards basically, anytime someone uses basically, they're probably lying. Especially in a statement that they clearly typed out, reread over 5 to 10 times. Come on now. Your fiscal support will go towards basically, why do you even have to put that there? Basically helping me stay alive. Huh? Wait. So y'all created the argument that y'all were part of the hardest season of Survivor ever. And now after the season, you're saying you need Patreon to survive? Come on, y'all. Come on, ladies. Y'all can't be buying this bullshit. Come on. Did she think we were born yesterday? Oh, this is for you to survive? How did you make it on Survivor? How did you make it all of these years without them paying you money for bullshit? Why is it life or death now? Didn't you just get a jury stipend from being on Survivor? How are you more broke after Survivor than you are before Survivor? None of this makes any sense, Shan. I told y'all this is the dark side of clout chasing. See, she's showing y'all her real self right now. And see, what you got to understand, pastors do this shit all the time. I stopped going to my Baptist church because I knew my pastor wasn't shit. Motherfucker taking donations and tithes and all this shit, stacking up money, riding around in all these good ass whips. Meanwhile, your whole congregation is poor as shit, giving their last to you, believing, oh, God will bless me down the line if I give you my last $15. Meanwhile, what do these pastors do with that money? Do they really reinvest it in the community? Oh, they might build a bigger facility for them to spew their bullshit in. But for the most part, they spend it on themselves and their kids and their wife and their family, or they might spend it on dirty macking and cheating on their wife. My point is, it's a dirty game. And what you got to understand, the black church has been controlled for ages by the government. By the government. These institutions were put in place to keep us under control. Have any of y'all seen the Nat Turner movie, Birth of a Nation? That movie is so great. And honestly, just follow me here because when I'm in freestyle mode, I mention a lot of shit that's so pertinent. Nat Turner was at first the pastor who was hired by the slave master to teach the word of God to keep the slaves docile so they would never rise up in revolt. Nat Turner realized what he was being used for, and that's what led to him revolting. Now the movie, the way it was portrayed, they made it seem like a little black boy snitched on him. I didn't like that side of it. But the point is, at the end of the day, coach, Nat Turner, one of the most legendary black men for rebelling against tradition and the system, he was once a pastor who was being manipulated by powers that be. Nothing has really changed in the 21st century. Nothing has really changed. That's what I want y'all to understand. All right. So when I read something like this, where she says, your fiscal support will go towards basically helping me stay alive and be healthy as I aim to fulfill all that God has in store. When was Shan ever unhealthy? You were starving on an island on national television for 20 something days, but you're creating the argument that you need people to donate money to you to stay alive and healthy? You showed us that you can go without food for 3 weeks. So why should we believe now all of a sudden you're this physically weak person? This is my problem. Now she's trying to be the victim, take advantage of BLM, and get some welfare. Not for her actual hard work, not for any content that she has proven to be good at making. Because once again, most of her fans have never seen her deliver a single sermon. They're literally, if they do support her, it's just because she is a black woman and she is existing. But I've never seen a black man clout chase this hard after a season and be rewarded for it, which once again goes back to the double standard of it all. This woman did not give a black man a vote at the end of Survivor 41. So any black person who supports her after that is off code. See, if she would have still given Deshaun a vote, same with Liana, and then she would have done this, to an extent, I could be like, all right, at least she was on code. Let's be on code and salute to her. But she was literally off code. She allowed Ricard, her little moist attack dog, to go at Deshaun the entire damn final tribal council. Pissed me off on Deshaun's behalf. Honestly, if I was Deshaun, I would have whooped Ricard's ass after that filming was ended. I would have whooped his ass. Because some of that shit you would have never said to me in the game. You would have never said to me outside the game. You took that moment to take that opportunity to come at Deshaun because you knew he was the only one who had a chance of beating Erica face to face. And you, being a buck-broken individual, Ricard, you only want to reward women too because the whole game you was anti-black men because you wanted JD gone too. But I see black women calling Ricard their husband just because Shan called him her gay husband. They will follow some black women to the end of the earth, to the end of the world, even if this black woman is proven to not be shit. It's embarrassing. But now, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Kingsley, for this, because you really, hey man, you teed it up. I just got to knock it out of the park. And I know I'm doing the job you hired me to do by sending me that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever have an article, a link to something that is unique that you know I can go off on, do exactly what Kingsley did on Patreon. Send it to the kid. Real talk, send it to me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to see the reactions. Yeah, see, this is what y'all really here for. Can we be honest with ourselves? We're here to see the reactions, right? Like, look. It's all fine and dandy roasting her, okay? And let's be real. She looks crazy out here in these streets. She looks crazy. She looked like she on the Creflo Dollar side of the game. You know, she looked like she on the what Joel Osteen side of the game. Remember they said Joel Osteen had like 50 racks hiding in his wall somewhere in his house or something like that. I'm telling you, bruh, anybody who dedicates their life work to being a pastor, meaning well, not even their whole life. She's dedicated 7 years. That means she has dedicated 7 years to figuring out how to con and swindle people out of their money. That is her skill set, y'all. That's why she was good at the manipulating side of the game, because she made JD feel like she was on his side. She was his sister. She made it feel like that. Then when the time came, she stabbed him in the back. But she never once had that same energy for Ricard at any stage of the game. Even when Deshaun and Danny went to Liana and said, hey, we want to get rid of Ricard because they knew he was the biggest threat to their four, Liana ran to Shan like a true snitch because Liana cared more about Ricard and Shan than the black men too. So it all adds up now. Like, honestly, I didn't even want to do a rant off that Survivor finale. That's why I didn't do one, because I knew no one black would win, because I knew JD and Abraham not making jury is what cost every black person the game. But let's get into the response to all of this, y'all, because I think this shit is funny. I really do think this shit is funny. Hold up. Sorry about that. It's over 1,200 comments, y'all. 1,200. Here we go. I wonder if she was humming that song while she drafted this message. Oh man, they're going in already. Uh-oh. She definitely was humming it. Your fiscal support, LOL. I will respond with, you'll be in our thoughts and prayers, and I encourage anyone thinking about donating to do the same instead. As prayers will bring you much closer to the kingdom than money, the root of all evil, right, ever will. Good point. That was the most contrived bullshit imaginable. Facts. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to read between the lines on that. Okay? I had people in my Patreon comment section trying to convince me, oh, Shan, she dates a black guy. She doesn't want to swirl Dave. Oh, she sure has me fooled. I'm just being honest. I get nothing but swirl vibes from the woman, because she has no loyalty to black men. She has none. Her man can be black, but he could be a beard for all I know, based off the way she is trying to grift for this cash. It seems like he ain't making no money for both of them. Either that or she broke up with him after she came out the game because she don't no longer need his ass. I'm just saying what it is. Now, oh snap, this person said, God told me not to donate. Okay, coach. Let's get it. I'm with the shits right now. No shit. He told me the same thing. Excellent. Oh man, accurate username. We are not worthy. Oh man, I can't believe it. I can't believe God has chosen us both to not donate during a pandemic. And that's what makes her look even worse, by the way. That's what makes her look even worse. Oh, I need to survive. I need to stay alive. But I could care less about you, the audience, that needs to survive and stay alive, by the way. I would prefer you all put yourself in dire straits by giving me the money that you all should be saving and hoarding for your own families. Yeah. Send them my way so I can spew some Canadian religious propaganda that you could just hear at your random evangelical or Baptist church around your own hood. Oh, just listen to me though. I know people. First of all, if church cost money, no one would ever go. Okay. It's the idea that you have a choice to give them your money that makes some people want to go. And let's be honest, the majority of people who attend church all the time are gay folks and I'm just gonna keep it real, and club hoes. I'm just gonna be real because there has been plenty of moments where women have been still reeking of that alcohol and weed at church. They ain't really going to sleep. Some of them. Some women are looking for their man at church. Some women trying to sleep with the pastor. Now, granted, some men are trying to sleep with the first lady too. Some men are just trying to sleep with the women in the congregation too. It's a two-way street. I'm not biased here. But I understand the grift so well because I'm a legit content creator who legit makes content. I've pretty much given the streets 2 videos a week for the last few months now. At least, you know? And me having a Patreon now, I know the responsibility of making premium content and not downing your tools and making sure the audience feels like it is premium, feels like this is something I'm happy that only belongs to me. I got to pay my way to have this. I don't want people who didn't pay to have this. I don't think Shan could ever give her fans any content that's so exclusive that they'll keep paying to watch. I think once the buzz dies down, and once people realize that she's just grifting them because she's not that interesting of a person, understand an edit can make anyone seem interesting when they're reverse editing it from the final episode to the first one anyway. But when you're watching a show like Big Brother with live feeds, the editors have to always be careful about bashing someone too much because things can change on a dime because they're not reverse editing it. So you could make it seem like this person has no chance to win, and they can end up winning the game if you're not careful. Let's see some more thoughts on this. I could honestly see Shan as one of those shame televangelists. Exactly. Exactly. That that's all she was on Survivor. Let's keep it a bean. That's all she was. I'm a huge Survivor fan and a huge fan of strategy, blindsides, lying, etc. on the show, but Shan's manipulation was so next level that every week I was left behind thinking, left being like, this woman is a minister? It was beyond gameplay and just straight up like, this woman has to be scamming parishioners somewhere. And see, that's the thing, y'all. This is what I alluded to. These people are trained in swindling you out of your money. It's no listen, man. This is gonna be a controversial statement. It's no different than a stripper. I dated a stripper. I've told y'all this story. But when you date one, you start to understand a stripper's cadence. You start to understand how strippers diagnose if you're a trick or if you're not. You start to realize how you can maneuver around someone who's used to always getting their way by swindling the guy out of his cash. If you can get your mouthpiece and your game tight enough and she can never swindle you, all of a sudden she want to be wifey. All of a sudden she want to drop everything she was doing, throw all that stripper shit into the past cuz now she finally got a motherfucker she willing to submit to. I don't think Shanna's ever found a man she wants to submit to. I think she picked the pastor route because it was the only route at that time that could make her any money. Um, and now she's trying to utilize this to make more money because I think during COVID, no one is showing up to whatever church she was at in Canada. And she also knows the majority of her fans now are in America, not Canada. So we're not crossing the border to go see her. So she has to do these things to take advantage of the clout that she has. That's what's really going on here. There's no other way around it. Proximity wise and geographical location wise, she had no other choice but to do something online because physically speaking, no one's coming to Canada to hear you say some shit we could hear in our own neighborhood. I knew she rubbed me the wrong way and she validated my opinion. Ooh! It's crazy how everyone I say it's a little funny style. Y'all shouldn't really. I'm getting bad vibes. They always end up being people with bad vibes. It really is a unique skill set I have. I should be at Xavier School for the Gifted. I'm keeping it a bean with y'all. But understand, me being so good at diagnosing this leads to people being mad because they can't figure out how the sausage is made. When people don't understand you, they don't like you. And I think this is also what Professor Xavier once said about mutants. People fear what they don't understand. People fear my analysis style because they can't replicate it. And if they try, it's so obvious and blatant. So it puts them in a position of having to sound exactly the opposite of me to even breathe in this lane. But in order to sound like the opposite of me, you still have to placate to black women. Because if you don't do that, I still have black women on my side and I'm telling the truth. This is why they work so hard to turn black folks against me. Because truth be told, I am truly the most dangerous individual in reality TV. I'm the most dangerous person running. Period. End of story. Because when I cover a show, the show has different juice behind it. It has entirely different energy. Entirely different. But let's continue. This confirmed everything I thought about her. And see, I already know what people are going to do. They're going to try to use this. Oh, look at this. She's a grade A narcissist. Nature of the narcissist. That rant is now solidified. Put it in the Smithsonian. I told y'all, bruh. I told y'all. Alternatively, I knew from episode 1 she'd be next level at manipulating because she's a preacher. LOL. Thank you. The one main thing I remember was the story she was telling, how she has to convince her church into her way of thinking, just so slimy. Yep, and that's exactly how she was towards Deshaun, right? Deshaun constantly could see how fake she was, how anti-black she was, how she always tried to control every facet of everything. And Deshaun got to a point where was like, "Hey man, you do you, I'll do me." And when he wouldn't go down the route she wanted him to go down, she tried to label him as the emotional one. She tried to label him as the one that she had to baby, as if he wasn't smart enough to keep up with the game she was playing. Oh, he's smart enough. He's so smart, he could see your angle. And because he could see her angle, he got her out before she could get him out. And see, that's the funniest thing. The same episode, she held a grudge with him for taking her out. She literally was going to take him out over Ricard. At the last second, she changed her mind and said, let's go after Erica, who ended up winning the game. So no matter how you shake it here, she was the most off code, and then she has the nerve to be mad at you for believing who she presented herself to be and taking her out for it. Okay? Understand, this is how narcissists behave themselves. They can never be held accountable. Look at this, Moo77. Grifting goes hand in hand with ministry. There you go. There you go. Clearly wasn't that good at it since she quit. Damn. Ooh. Ooh. They going hard on her, bruh. And now, mind you, this is only a couple of days old, y'all. I'm giving y'all some shit, man. Kingsley, you hooked up the fam with some good shit on Christmas Eve, coach. Um, Quizlick says it's funny how God always tells people to do the thing they want to do. Exactly. Exactly, man. Exactly. Don't use God when it's convenient. Just own your shit. She wouldn't own her game. Now she won't even own this. She's the most unaccountable wannabe leader I've ever seen. This was such a well written show. Oh, okay. They're talking about King of the Hill. My bad. It's funny how God tells people to chase money after a taste of fame. Yep. And see, what y'all got to understand is that taste of fame leads to selling your soul. What I think is, she obviously didn't go down that door of selling her soul because she's instead trying to grift and trying to have the people push her into that new lexicon. The problem is, I don't think the people are stupid enough or care about you enough to do any of this. I don't think they do. See, Evie, the girl who was cool with Xander, I think she was non binary or lesbian, she was cool with Xander or whatever. She's doing the smart thing. She's showing pictures of her and Erica outside of the game, hanging out and shit like that, giving a lot of lesbian vibes off. But regardless, she's showing herself to be an ally of non-white people in ways that Shan tries to do with Ricard. But I think Evie is doing a better job of implementing her strategy of just being a good friend to someone and being a supporter of their victory. Shan at every turn seems like she's trying to steal the spotlight. And the timing of this really feels like she's trying to steal some spotlight. Now, granted, you could create the argument, well, Dave, well, didn't she wait like virtually a week after the finale to announce all this? Is it really her trying to steal the spotlight? Yes, it still is her trying to steal the spotlight. Absolutely. And she's so full of herself, she thinks she is the true. She thinks she's the true winner of Survivor 41, so she believes she should be rewarded the most as if she won Survivor. She's basically trying to recoup the million she thinks she deserves by having the fans pay her it. This is some deep shit, man. It's the 11th commandment, thou shalt chase the bag. They getting her, dog. They getting her. Oh, man. Oh, man, come on, bro. This is why Seinfeld is the best. George said, God would never let me be successful. He killed me first. He never let me be happy. The therapist said, I thought you didn't believe in God. George said, I do for the bad things. Yep, that's a good joke. That's a very good joke. God wants you to be rich, and not just in the kingdom of heaven, but right here and right now. Oh, it's the tier descriptions for me. $7 a month, perfect for broke students. What? Or the $20 a month in the description reads, your reward will be great in heaven. What? This is all true? Wait a minute. I gotta go on Patreon and look this up for y'all. No way. There's no way. There's no way she's this tone deaf. No way. Wow. Okay. $5 a month is perfect for you college students or recent graduates who are looking for a job. I see you, family. I commend you for doing all you can. So the people looking for a job should be giving you $5 a month? Wow, y'all. I can't, I'm not making this up. Y'all are seeing what I'm seeing, ain't y'all? $9.99. And see, hey, and something needs to be said for the fact that I have never raised my tier above $5 since I started Patreon about a year and a half ago. Something needs to be said. This woman's coming out the gate with a $20 price point. Out the gate. She ain't even proven she's good at creating content yet, and she already has multiple tiers. Does she owe money to the mafia or something? Like, who are you trying to pay off? This can't be Sally Mae. I mean, you a pastor. You ain't go to real school. Like, what is this? And then she puts, let's kick it. What? She definitely trying to market herself to black people, dog. She's trying, dog. I hope this ain't working on sisters. Please, sisters, don't fall for this, yo. That's why I'm doing this video, sisters. I want y'all to be aware of this so y'all can influence other sisters around you to not be stupid. Now, let's look at this $9.99 price point. Oh, you've decided to drop one of your many subscriptions to either Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon for me? Wow, the feels. You will not be disappointed. Come on, man. I can't make this up, man. Come on, man. Dog, this is your queen? This is her? Come on, dog. Black folks, I think it's time for us to start standing Erica more. Let's give her the clout. This chick, let's leave her in the shadow realm. What is she talking about, bro? Okay, let's look at her 1999 one. And she calls 999 Dorcas. What the fuck? Dorcas translation. What? In Greek and Arabic means gazelle. One species of gazelle is known as the Dorcas. She's speaking another language? Is this bitch a witch? I just got done watching The Witcher season 2. Man, I hope these ain't incantations. What? She doing magic? Hold on, what the fuck is this? Is an old Canaanite name, meaning my king is Sedek, or my king is righteousness. Okay, so if people pay $20 a month, then they're being righteous? Man. Hey man, this is y'all girl, not mine. All right, let's finish this up. The wisest and rarest of them all. I see you with your great big generous heart coming out of nowhere. Your reward shall be great in heaven. Welcome and thank you, your majesties. Dog, come on, dog. Wait a minute. There's one more level? Oh my god, Bible boss. Come on, man. Come on. 4 tiers, yo. 4 tiers. I got black folks who won't even spend $5 a month on me when I'm telling them the truth. This woman's grifting with a $25 a month tier. Wow. And her $25 a month tier, the only thing exclusive about it is video tutorials and lessons. You get early access and merch in the $20 one, but you don't get merch in the $10 one or $5 one. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all appreciate me more watching this. I gave y'all merch through Teespring so they wouldn't tax you extra through Patreon. Consumer-friendly shit. I have a $5 base tier for a year and a half, and still people act like that's too much money for me. This black woman is trying to get shit off to the point where she trying to make motherfuckers pay damn near a cell phone bill just to watch video tutorials. What are you going to be teaching them, though? Hey guys, here's a tutorial on being an anti-black black woman. Listen, listen, man. Listen, I don't know what part of the game this is, and the fact that she already has 45 patrons, that's disgusting to me. It's disgusting. I'm completely repulsed. But let's read this. Bible Balls, $25 a month. Free workshops, 1 a month. And Bible studies. So she's making y'all pay $25 a month to study a fucking Bible. When you can do that for free at your local church, y'all. Oh, but I get to do it with someone who played Survivor. It means what she says in her interpretation of the Bible. It means more. This is part of false idolatry. If you know anything about false idolatry, then you should know this entire thing is an oxymoron. It's an abomination. Putting a paywall behind teaching God's word, at the extent that her paywalls are there, okay? Let's look at these one more time. The extent of these paywalls are so vast and insane. I need to ask questions if she is okay. I don't feel bad for her, but I have to worry about someone's mental health when they do this and they think they're warranted in attempting it. I mean, you have a $5, a $10, a $20, and a $25. So the people who are paying 5 are literally just paying it just to give you money. The people who, so if you were to pay for her, the same people who say paying for my content is too expensive, if they were to pay for hers and not mine, understand they're getting no content at all, they're just donating money. If they were to pay for 10, all they get is early access, but it doesn't say what the early access is to because the merch is exclusive to the $20 and the Bible studies is exclusive to the $25. So the early access they're getting isn't even real in the $10. Then in the $20, you're literally paying twice as much as the $10 just to have the opportunity to buy overpriced merch that is being sold through Patreon. Listen, I understand the Patreon game, so I can completely filibuster why she's full of shit with all of this. Y'all need someone like me to break this down to y'all. If someone like me doesn't do it, no one will. You know what I mean? This is embarrassing to the culture. And see, we're going to have women defending this shit. The same women who acted like supporting my content was doing too much, they going to support her just because she's a woman and she's existing. They're not going to care that this is a clear grift. They're not going to care that she's using God's name to make some money. They're not going to care about none of that. Simply because they wanted a black woman to win Survivor 41. That's all it takes. That's how low the bar is these days, y'all. It's not about the content of your character. It's not about your integrity as a human being. When this woman should have the most integrity as being a pastor. But she isn't even held to that standard as a pastor. People said I was unfair with Tiffany by holding her to 42-year-old woman standards. Well, this woman is a pastor and she's held to less standards than even that. So, and not only that, she's claiming she's going to stop being one just to be an online televangelist behind a paywall. It's crazy. But hey, if y'all want to check this out, I can post the link to this Reddit in the description box below. I don't want this video to go that long, but even Martin Luther King, oh, my fault. Your reward will be great in heaven. That's not how this works. Martin Luther specifically rejected tithing, but Lex Luthor approved of it. What to do? I see what they're doing with that. But I don't want this video to go too long, all right? This was an educational video. And I need y'all to understand the dark side of clout chasing. When you put too much clout on someone's name simply because they are a specific gender, you give them outright power. There's no checks and balances in any of that. You can idolize someone for their gameplay, but once the game is over, what are you really idolizing them for after that? If they don't stand for something, it should matter. This woman did not throw a vote to Shan during the Survivor finale, knowing that he needed every black vote to even have a chance. She was willing to risk Deshaun not even getting second place money by not throwing him any votes. It took Danny throwing one vote to him to guarantee Deshaun got second place money. If Danny would have been as much of an off-code, anti-black individual as Liana and Shan were, Deshaun would have had to split that second place money probably with Xander. So it took a man in Danny, who already played in the NFL and had money probably, it took him to be unconditionally on code with his brother for his brother to get any type of reward for the great game that he played. And no one ever holds black women accountable for their bitterness, but they love to bring up how black men are bitter because of this, that, and the third. Well, when a black man brings up through great context, through great proof and evidence, why this black woman is problematic, I need black women to stand behind me and agree, because only then can we get the right representatives in the future. Shan ain't no different from Tiffany. We're going to have more copycats just like this because production, Jeff Probst, the whole nine, they see this is what y'all want. They're going to keep pandering and placating to you. And y'all going to start getting tired of it because you're going to start seeing it's a new archetype being replicated. Look, Shan was fresh for this season, but the way she went about playing her game, getting rid of JD when she could have just got rid of Ricard, her needing to take JD's extra vote, have that power, her needing to have that idol, huh? At the end of the day, she is someone obsessed with power and control of the narrative. This is why she butt heads so much with black men, because black men naturally want to lead, and she doesn't want to submit. She wants to be the most masculine one in the room, too. Well, at a certain point, you're going to hit your head against the wall because we're going to be done bashing our heads with yours, trying to get you to see the light. Eventually, we're going to leave you in the darkness, and that's exactly why this is the dark side of clout chasing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could, please don't forget to like this video, comment underneath it, and share it with all of the fans of Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge, all of the above that you rock with, Coach. All right, I've been giving y'all some great content the past couple of months during the off season. I'm just keeping myself well trained in good shape for the fight that's coming in 2022. We're going to have a huge gauntlet of seasons to cover, and I can't wait. We're going to have, of course, Celebrity Big Brother. We're going to have Big Brother Canada 10, and we're also going to have Big Brother 24, hopefully. Those 3 seasons will be very interesting, and hopefully in between those things, I can also cover the challenge here and there, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not that into it. But outside of that, Coach, I hope I did a good job of explaining why Shan is a grifter, and I hope now people can see it's not a personal problem I have with this woman. It's actually the contrary. My problem with her is the fact that she doesn't have to be who she says she is to get the reward she gets, but a black man has to always be who he says he is to be worth anything. And that's my problem. If we can figure out a way to make this a 50-50 thing where everyone gets held accountable across the board, great. But if we're not going to do that, we're all going to be in the darkness very soon. But until that day comes, I hope you all have enjoyed this rant. Once again, please hit that like button for me. It really helps me. And I'm going to see you on the next episode of Recency Bias Radio where no one is safe from criticism. Shan, you should have known better than to come out with this Patreon shit. Come on. You knew I was going to expose you. It takes someone with an actual Patreon to break this down to the layman to get them to see that she's grifting to hell and high water. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you next time. Until next time, I am inevitable.